Alright, hey everybody, welcome to Transinging 201, the second episode of the series. If you have not seen the first episode yet, you can click on that link right there. That will take you to the very first video, where you can click on it and see the first video of this series. Yeah. So in this video, we're going to be looking at the basics in a more in-depth level, and then we're going to be looking at emotion at the end. And finally, before we begin and get into this, I do teach privately, so if that does interest you, if you want to take private voice lessons with me, speaking or voice singing training, you can send me an email right here. And just let me know what's up. So I wanted to start by looking at some points that will be brought up throughout the rest of this series. So singing is about expressing yourself. It's about laying it all on the line through gripping emotion and just letting it loose. The better in tune you are with the emotion of the piece, the better the performance will be. And I use the word performance loosely. It can be a large-scale performance or it can be a performance for yourself. The better the performance will be if you lay it on the line. The other half of this is confidence. When you sing, you have to be confident because you are in such an emotionally vulnerable place for both you and the audience. So the more confidence you convey, the better off your performance will be as well. So fortunately for us, we're trans women. That means we were brought up in a more confident, manly way. And then on the other half, we have this estrogen that kind of keeps us a little bit more sensitive and stuff. So if you tap into that old confidence, if you suppressed it, bring it back out, become more confident when you sing and let it fly. I need to start doing this more with the camera. I like it. Ooh. So before we get into emotion though, let's look at some of these fundamentals on that in-depth level. All right, well, no, we gotta trudge through the mud before we can get to the finish line. Is that it? All right, so last week we learned this laughing exercise, which is ha 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 ha. So this exercise is almost exclusively how to learn to support the voice. As you laugh, you really want to feel that belly kind of bounce a little bit. You want to feel it kind of compressing in on itself a little bit. Just a touch though. Just a little bit. You're not sucking in to make that actually happen. So to really understand this feeling, we need to just kind of relax our shoulders. We don't want to be breathing in like this. That's bad. Don't do that. Breathe in from the belly. Breathe that, push that diaphragm down and just breathe in. All right, so keep the belly soft when you breathe. And just relax. Now we can kind of take a look at this and feel what it's doing by putting our pinky below our belly button and our thumb just below the sternum. And focus on what fingers are moving. Ideally, we want the pinky to be engaged. We want to you know how when you pull up a sit-up, your stomach kind of comes in a little bit. We want that feeling, but not that tight. But we definitely want that feeling a little bit. So when you have your pinky there, you want your pinky to be a little bit more engaged, and then you want your thumb to be the part that's moving in and out. So the other really, really important exercise that this is my favorite one, and if you ever come to a show of mine, you will definitely see me yawning beforehand, and this is what I'm focusing on. So the yawn is incredibly important because what it does is it allows us to stretch the soft palate out in the back of our mouth there. It's that little, after the hard ridge, it's that soft palate back there. And so when we yawn, we want to focus on getting that really high. We want to get that as high as possible. We want to feel just our entire sinuses opening up. We want to feel our molars kind of just coming in just a touch, our tongue laying flat. That is essentially where we want the sound to be coming from, the way, way, way back. This is our main resonating chamber. We'll get into it. But this is our main resonating chamber for the majority of our singing voice. So when we sing, We want as much space in the back as possible. Okay? Okay. So going along with this mouth resonance and finding that big place in the back of our mouth, the female singing voice will typically have more mouth resonance than chest resonance, while a typical male singing voice will have more chest resonance than it will with mouth resonance. So this is crucial if we want to start finding that female sound. We want to start getting it out of this chest. When you're learning how to speak femininely, you'll notice that one of the first things that they try to teach you is to kind of keep it out of the chest, and you don't want that big, heavy vibrations going on in your chest. And that's kind of what we want with singing as well. We don't want a whole lot of chest vibrations going on. So going along with placement, another warm-up, a new warm-up that we can start to really start crafting into this sound that we need to get to. And I'm using these specifically because this warm-up focuses on the maxillary sinus right here. This is where we want to put our tone as well. If we can kind of craft this and put it right above, make it follow through, just, over the top of the mouth and out the nose, we can get this really freeing sound, and we can get an open sound. So by having this resonance that comes right out through here, right in the maxillary sinuses, we can find a very feminine voice very quickly. So the warm-up is like this. King Kong, King Kong, King Kong, King Kong, King. Ring, rong, ring, rong, ring, rong, ring, rong, ring. And we want to get this, we want to use the k sound and put it right in the front of the mouth. We want to create that k from the front. We want to use the ring as well, right in the front of the mouth. And that'll help us get to this nasal, or not nasal tone, but that'll help us get to this resonating chamber here in our sinuses. If you're really having trouble with this, and I know that I did when I was really learning how to sing, something that my current voice teacher taught me that I absolutely love to help find this place is by just pulling out your upper lip here. And when you do that, you can kind of feel this whole area kind of open up right here. And after you do that, you want to focus on that point in particular. So if you're having trouble finding that, pull out your upper lip a little bit. Ring, rong, ring, rong, ring, rong, ring, rong, ring. Put it right there. You got it. I know you do. You got it. And finally, one last thing that we can do to create this more mouth resonance, and this one's a really hard one, is to lay the tongue flat. If we lay this tongue flat, we can open up so much more room in the back of our mouth. So by laying our tongue flat, we open up a lot more room in the back of our mouth. Vocal exercises, aren't they great? Okay, so we can do this a couple different ways. We can lay the tongue over the top of the bottom teeth. And then that kind of pulls everything forward a little bit and it keeps the tongue from bunching up in the back. Or we can put the tongue below the bottom of the teeth and lay our tongue flat in the back so it spreads out. The goal is to try to get as much resonance in the back of the mouth as possible. So using all of these techniques that I taught you, we now have all the puzzle pieces to create this healthy, pleasant sounding tone. And we've already touched on some of the basics of finding a feminine singing voice. So now that we have all the puzzle pieces laid out, let's put it together and talk about emotion. One of the most common differences between male and female voices are the way the lyrics are presented, especially when you consider romance. Many times a female voice will have a sigh throughout the line and give it this quality that, while a male voice will present it and say it like how it is, and maybe just drop it a little bit. You can hear it when he sings, and he says it, and he's croony. You can hear the croon. I don't know what accent that is supposed to be, but it's supposed to be an accent. So let's listen to two versions of the same song. One is by Michael Bublé, and one is by Vashi, featuring Audrey May. And this is the song, Feelin' Good.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel.
So if you listen to Michael Bublé, notice how he states the line. And he very much puts it right there. He says, this is the song. Right? Right. So then we go to Avashi.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel.
So if you notice, the song has this nice sigh to the song. It's very soft and delicate, right? Right. So when we talk about finding a feminine voice, we want to think about what the emotion behind the song is, because the lyrics and the timbre are equally important. In fact, having a low voice and singing with a very feminine quality will achieve a feminine tone regardless of the pitch of your voice. So when you're looking at lyrics, consider the context. Consider who is singing. Is it sung by a strong female? Is it sung by a frail old woman? Who is singing the song? And try to convey that in the way that would best represent the person it's sung by. So the person you're trying to convey sets the emotion for the song. And in this way, singing is a lot like acting. Now, before we come to the end, I want to leave you one more artist singing the same song. I'm not going to tell you who they are. What I want you to do is I want you to listen and try to guess the gender of the artist.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel.
So if you said female, you're right. That is Nina Simone. Now, I wanted to share this with you because Nina Simone is an incredible vocalist with an incredible range. And I guarantee you she had never thought about what she sounded like when she sang. She just sang. Confidence is so important, as well as emotion. Nina Simone's voice was so low in a lot of her songs that she probably never even really cared if she sounded like a man or not, because, like I said, she was confident. So be confident and be emotional. All right, everybody, thank you all so much for watching. This was the second lesson of 4, so we are about the halfway point now. The next video is going to be... got my notebook here. The next video, we're going to talk about head voice, chest voice, the passaggio. Remember that? We talked about that a little bit in the first video. Our vocal cords, because it's a little bit important to know what your vocal cords are actually going to be doing when you're talking about passaggio and head voice and chest voice and all sorts of other things. And then finally, blending. And blending is probably the most important part of the puzzle, because blending is when we start crafting that feminine tone. One more thing before I go is I do teach these lessons privately, so if you want to send me an email right here at claire@clairemichellemusic.com, you can send me an email, let me know what's up, and we'll get some lessons going by Skype or by Google Hangouts or whatever other web video service that we can find. All right, everybody, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time with episode 3. Here we go. Bye.